Hey everyone, it's Movie Lover Warren 20 here, and I'm here with episode 13 of my Halloween Horror Movie Review Season 2. And that is going to be so I'll recap this. This is going to be the third installment of a series I started on the first week of this season. And what did not go to theaters. I do not own this one, guys, so I won't be showing the DVD, but it was dumped direct to DVD, most likely because of the box office performance of its predecessor. And it's actually, this series is a torture porn series. Yes. Today I am reviewing Hostel Part 3, released on DVD in December 2011, and not directed by Eli Roth, and not set in Europe or Slovakia. This time set in Las Vegas, and is directed by Scott Spiegel. Yeah. So, I'll recap this. When it comes to the Hostel movies, I'm a little more mixed on the series as a whole. The first one I find okay, but the characters in the first one just irritate me to death. Hostel Part 2 I actually do like, and I'm gonna get so much back, and people are gonna get so angry hearing that, and they're gonna start attacking me just for saying that I like that movie, and I like it better than the first one, but the first one annoyed the shit out of me so much with how annoying those characters were, and Hostel Part 2 characters were way more damn tolerable than those guys were, but as for this movie, Hostel Part 3, I think this movie sucks. Yeah, and I'm gonna get to why. But let's explain the plot of the movie. While attending a bachelor party in Las Vegas, four friends are enticed by two sexy escorts to join them at a private party way off the strip. Once there, they are horrified to find themselves the subject of a perverse game of torture, where members of the Eli Hunting Club, a Las Vegas location for them for some weird reason, are hosting the most sadistic show in town. So yeah, I absolutely despise this movie. It's just weird because I actually loved Part 2 so much. What happened? Ugh, man. Okay, let's just make this a general rule. This movie proves that, as a rule, we should be having no direct-to-DVD sequels to any Eli Roth movies ever. Okay? If you're gonna make a sequel, only have Eli Roth involved, please. Like, Cabin Fever 2 proved this, Hostel Part 3 proved this, Cabin Fever Patient Zero proved this, Cabin Fever's shitty-ass remake proved this. Don't make any sequels to Eli Roth movies without Eli Roth, please. And again, I don't think Eli Roth's a sequel person to begin with. The third installment in the Hostel series is literally a way too tame experience compared to the previous two movies, which were grisly, gory, and just outright sadistic. This movie just feels way too toned down for a Hostel sequel. No, like, this movie is literally tones down the gore. We're basically ruining the whole point of the series, and yeah, and then remember this annoying amount of sexual content and nudity in the first one? Well, there maybe still not as much as Part 1, but they pretty much go back to the crap nudity again with this movie. And so yeah. The story is basically as forward as you'd expect from this series. Nothing overly new to be seen here. There's a nice twist to the story with one of the main characters, though. However, I'm not going to spoil it for those who have not still checked out Part 2 or... Oh wait, no. Not Part 2. We have not checked out any of these sequels, specifically this one. But I'm not going to tell you what it is or whom it is. You'll just have to find out for yourself if you really do want to watch this movie. Like, Hostel 3 is set in Las Vegas, which did not work all that well for me. Because, like, in Europe is a scarier place to set it. It makes the concept a lot more disturbing of the Eli Hunting Club. It just makes Just makes the Eli Hunting Club concept way more disturbing by putting it in Europe, because Europe can be kind of a dangerous place. In Las Vegas, I'm sorry, what? No, that doesn't work for me. LA Hunting Club should have just stayed a European torture club, not an American torture club. For some reason, and they don't host some brutal show either. Like, the Eli Hunting Club just tortured their victims for profit, not some torture reality show where they have their victims be killed. Yeah, because there's no real suspense to the setting, and the whole theme plot of the movie turned out to be sort of shallow, and I didn't really buy into it. What was literally supposed to be a setup of this weird sport turned out to be a mocking image of what it could have been. Yeah, like this pretty much this basically this feels like The Hangover meets the torture porn genre. Yeah, like if you thought the first one was American Pie meets the torture genre, this one is literally The Hangover meets the torture genre. Part 2 doesn't qualify for this kind of trope because Part 2 is the only one that's actually even a straight up horror movie. Yeah. Like, because unlike the first two being set in a foreign country, this one's set in Las Vegas. And that's probably the first biggest mistake, especially considering that this movie doesn't even mention any of the events of the first two movies at all, and it's completely its own film. Like, if you literally skipped part 1 and 2, you wouldn't even be missing a thing, because this movie is completely unrelated to the first two. The only thing it even is related is just you have the Eli Hunting Club thrown in it, and the title Hostel Part 3 slapped on to just attract fans and make them rent this. Second mistake is the lack of blood and gore and fairly tame violence up until the last 10 minutes of the movie. Yeah, there's like hardly any gore in this movie until like the very final few minutes. And even then the gore sucks. Ugh. And like, the characters, yep, they make the characters the same kind of jackasses from part 1. All over again. I think maybe even worse. The characters, because at least with part 1's annoying jackasses, like one of them, Paxton, actually does get revenge on his attackers, and it kind of does redeem him a little bit, so at least, but here, just no. These characters, I didn't care about any of them. I didn't even care about the sole survivor of this movie. I wanted him dead too. I think I wanted every single character in this movie dead. Like, what? And they even called this movie unrated, like, what is the point of calling it unrated and making a third Hostel if you can't even make it gory like 1 and 2 and not bring back Eli Roth or setting it in Europe? The way it's meant to be set in. Like I said, Europe made them even scarier characters. Here, I mean a scarier organization. Because Europe is kind of an unknown country. Here, in Las Vegas, sorry, but setting a foreign organization in Las Vegas or the America is probably really, really idiotic, because, and then suddenly turning them into an organization that tortures other people for a show. No, like, because in Las Vegas there'd be security all over that hotel, and they would have all been caught regardless. So it just would have made their whole organization a complete joke. If that was real and it was actually put in Las Vegas. Like, I'm the one that loves watching some gore movies out there, and that is why I cannot stand utter watered down PG-13 horror crap they call horror. This was just a waste of 1.5 hours to 2 hours of anyone's life. And I rate this low because it's nowhere near the gore of the other two movies, and the action's just not there. Kind of like the action in the first one. I wish they would have, because that was kind of my big criticism with part 2, is that there was really barely a lack of action, so I was really hoping they'd put some action in this movie again, but no, not even that much suspense. Oh my god. Like, I guess the only redeeming quality of this movie is that at least it didn't try to rehash part 1, and at least while I get they kind of want to set up a different Eli Hunting Club organization, like they're a worldwide organization instead of just Europe, but I can see where they're going, but the way they executed it is just pretty poor. Ugh. And then, having seen the previous two movies, I was rather disappointed with Hostel 3. Yeah, so this is a sign this was pretty much the perfect sign that it was time to just let this franchise just go to sleep for good. If they are making a part 4, hopefully it'll be a step in improvements from this level. Oh, wait a minute. If that happened, I think what they probably know what they would have turned it into. I mean, we all remember what happened with a certain other Eli Roth movie that became a franchise and was supposed to get a fourth one. They probably just would have made it another dumb shopper shot remake of the first film. Much like how they shopper shot remaked Cabin Fever and just slapped Eli Roth's name on it to make it look like he had involvement. So honestly, never mind. Maybe they shouldn't make a part 4. Never mind. Just screw that. They should just leave us at 3 movies at this rate, but... So yeah, that's the end of my thoughts on Hostel Part 3, and here's how I'm going to rank it.
I am going to give Hostel Part 3 a 4 out of 10.
Alright, and that's it for Hostel Part 3. And now we finished all 3 of the Hostel movies, so the Hostel series is pretty much complete. So, with that being said, what's going to be the next episode of the Halloween horror movie reviews? Well, episode 14 is not going to be for a rated R movie. It's probably going to be what is, I think, the first PG rated film. And it's not really a horror movie, but it's more of a more kind of like a spooky live action family like comedy about a spooky family released in 1991. Yep. Next episode is going to be for 1991's Barry Sonnenfeld's The Addams Family. Yep. And until then, that'll be it for this episode. Thank you all for watching, and if you like this and want to see more, and don't forget to like, subscribe to Movie Lover 120.